Hey my friend, in this new ambient guitar tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to create an ambient wash underneath what you're playing. Something that sounds like this. The little wash in the background that adds to the ambience. I'm gonna show you all the best settings to do that by yourself. So let's dive in. To play ambient guitar, we need a clean tone that is going to sound crisp and clear like this. But unlike other players who play blues or rock or pop, they're gonna add just a touch of reverb just to thicken up the tone a little bit, something like this. So that was a subtle spring reverb, but to play ambient guitar, we want something more than that. We want a wash in the background to create more ambience so that it sounds atmospheric. And it's really easy to get excited about it and crank up the mix and the repeats on your delay and reverb pedals and end up masking what you're playing and ruining the beautiful clean tone that you have. Something that would sound like this. So the kind of ambient wash that I have in the background sounds really cool, but now I lost all the clarity of my playing. We don't really hear what's being played by my dry signal or the repeats that are in the background. So we want the best of both worlds, that cool wash in the background, but keep the clarity and the crispiness of what we're playing on our clean tone. So for that, we need to tweak the settings on the delays and the reverbs. So let's start with the delay pedal only. I'm gonna turn the reverb off. It's the Strymon El Capistan, as always. And the problems with my settings right now is not the repeats. It's not the timing of the reverb or the tempo. It's the mix knob. It is too loud. It sounds even louder than when I'm playing. The repeats are too loud, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna back off on the mix about until there so that it sounds quieter right now. And it's important to keep the repeats high up there because we want something to ring in the background even if I want to give some space to the notes to breathe, or if I want to stop on a chord, something like this. I still want something to wave and wash in the background like this and repeat, right? So by doing that with the mix knob a little bit after, like before noon right here, it's gonna give some space to your clean tone to really shine. So now it's clear what I'm playing, but we still hear that something is in the background. If I were to remove the delay, you would notice it instantly. But if I do that, cool wash in the background. And if on your delay pedal you have a tone knob, you don't have them on all models, but on this one I have a tape age knob, which is a tone knob. So if you want, you can put a much darker tone to the repeats because it's going to give more contrast between what you're playing and what is being repeated by the delays, right? So now I have a much darker delay tone. So that creates even more separation. So it sounds better, but it's still just, we're still hearing the repeats, and that's not what we want. We want something washing in the background. So that's why we want to add on top of that a reverb pedal. And we're going to apply some of the same principles on the reverb pedal. So I'm going to turn off the delay and turn on the reverb only so that we can hear it. I'm using the New Neighbor Immerse Mark II, and the problem was the same here. The depth knob, which tells us how long the reverb is going to ring, is not the problem. That was the mix knob. The reverb was too loud. So we're going to apply the same principle. We are going to back off on the mix a little bit. I like to have just a bit more mix on the reverb than I do on the delay because I want to wash it down just a little bit more so that we lose the repeats and we keep something that's more even in the background, right? So if I try that, I get a clear tone and I still have that cool and great reverb tone in the background. And once again, if you have a tone knob, which I do here on the wet setting, I can have a much darker tone, right? So don't get confused. The tape age is adding more darkness to it. So when I was going to the right, clockwise, that was darker, but this one, the tone, when I go counterclockwise, it gets darker on this one. So you have to use your ears when you use pedals for that. So now if I try it with a darker tone, it's really nice. And when I combine the delay and the reverb tones, now we're talking. Listen to that wash in the background, especially after you played many chords. This is really great. And then it's up to taste how loud you want the wash to be. So what I usually do is I start with those settings. And if you want a little bit more of it, you can add a touch more mix on the delay and a touch more mix on the reverb, and that's going to give you more ambience, and you can do that a few times until it gets too much, until it starts masking your clean tone again. So let's try it. This is still pretty clear to me, and it gives me even more ambience. But if I were to add a touch more mix again, and a touch more mix again, now it's gonna start masking it, I think. It's really at the limit. It's a bit too much for me, so I'm just gonna, once it's too much for you and it starts masking, you just back off a little bit on the mix again. And now you have your sweet spot of ambience. And now it's a matter of not playing evenly on the fretboard. Create some dynamics with your playing, and it's really going to make the wash really alive underneath what you're playing. So not picking at the same intensity every time like this. It sounds a bit boring, but if I add more dynamics to it, right? If you compare to not having any effects at all, right? It's really making my playing alive. It's a world of a difference when you add a little wash in the background. Really cool. So just a medium mix, high repeats, darker tones if you can, both on the delay and the reverb, and then have fun and play with sensitivity and let yourself be inspired by that little wash in the background. Thanks for watching. If you want more ambient guitar trainings from me, you can get my free course. It's the first link in the description box. It's called A Beginner's Guide to Ambient Guitar. It's a free mini course of 45 minutes. I'm showing you which kinds of effects you need to purchase to play ambient guitar, how to set up your clean tones, some techniques like creating ambient guitar swells and drones, and then how to start layering your songs, your parts and your layers on a looper pedal to create your songs by yourself. So under 1 hour, you would learn everything you need to start writing your own ambient guitar music by yourself. So once again, it's the first link in the description box. It's my gift to you for watching my video until the end. Until next time, au revoir, my friend.